Hi, I'm Joe and welcome to the channel. In this micro lesson, I thought I would explore a couple of techniques that you can make your guitar chords sound more interesting. There's a few little devices and things that you can do, and you don't need to know a lot of big music theory to do this. They're just very simple techniques that you can apply right now just to spice up your chords and your chord changes. Let's go ahead and grab a guitar and I'll show you exactly what I mean. So let's look at a couple of the techniques that you can use to spice up your chords and your chord progressions. The first one being is when you're holding down a chord shape, go ahead and remove one of the fingers from that chord shape, just to see what kind of flavor that adds. Another one would be the opposite. In a chord shape when you're playing, add an additional finger to finger a different note to see what kind of flavor, again, that adds to the chord. A third one would be, take a chord shape that you're familiar with playing and put it in different parts of the neck, that same exact shape. I think you'll be surprised at what you're going to come up with and hear with that. And then the fourth technique we're going to talk about is an inversion. So instead of playing the root in the chord as the bass note, which is traditionally what we do, try adding either a third or a fifth. So let's look at a basic chord progression, and then we're going to try to spice it up with using these techniques that I just mentioned. So let's look at this. We're going to do A twice, to D, to G. So just real simple. So let's go ahead and employ these techniques. For the A chord, instead of playing this full shape, let's lift up our pinky. Now go to the D, now to the G. Already we have a different flavor, a different sound to this chord progression. Okay, let's keep going. Let's now try, instead of the second A of playing that same chord, let's try an inversion. Instead of playing the A in the bass, let's put our third finger down to play the third in the bass. So that's a first inversion. We have the root in the bass first, the third, and if you're to play the fifth in the bass, that would be second inversion. But let's try this in first inversion. So we'll play A again with that open B string. Now to the D, to the G. So again, now we're just adding a little bit more movement because we have this bass note happening. So let's listen where we came from. This was the first progression. Okay, now here's where we're at right now. So let's keep going. For the D, instead of playing our D shape here, let's use our C shape, but move it up here. And let's go ahead and add a note too while we're at it. That was another technique. First one was take a chord shape that you're used to playing and move it in different areas of the neck to see what it sounds like. And the other one was to add additional fingerings to that. So let's go ahead and add our pinky here on the B string on the 6th fret. So we're going to do that now for the D. So here's what we have so far for this chord progression now. To the G. Already we're just making this sound a lot more interesting. And for the last chord, for the G chord, let's go ahead and add a fingering. Let's add an extra note to that. We're going to add basically our A note here. And we're actually going to change this up too and add two notes. Let's go ahead and add a major seventh, a flat 7 to this as well. So we'll add our third finger on the 3rd fret of the D string. So instead of playing this G chord, now have this. Just sounds a lot more interesting. And all I'm doing is I'm just experimenting, moving my fingers around. We don't care right now what the names of these notes are, or the names of the chords are right now. We're just experimenting, using your fingers, breaking out of those traditional chord shapes just to spice up your chords and your chord progressions. So again, let's look at the chords now. We have the A now played like this. Also played in an inversion. And now we have that D played up here with the extra note added. And now our new G chord. So let's hear that again. Where we came from was this, the first progression. And now we have this. So hopefully you can see the power in doing this. And really, it just comes down to experimenting. Experimenting again with different fingerings and voicings for these chords that you might have been playing for forever in these same types of voices. Again, start basic. Just lift up a finger, or add an additional finger, or move that shape around in the neck a little bit. And just to see, what you can come up with your own chord progressions. Well, that's another micro lesson down. Hey, if you found any value in this video, would you do me a favor and consider helping me grow the channel by subscribing down below, hit the like button, and knocking the bell. All these things really do help me out, and I really am so grateful for your support. As always, I wish you a wonderful day.